As we keep an eye on today's hearing in the IRS targeting of conservatives, that hearing getting underway right now. The new chief is under fire for reinstating millions of dollars in bonuses. The new commissioner, John Koskinen, saying the bonuses are needed to boost morale.
Not everyone will get a performance award. We expect 30 or 40% won't. These are determinations made by management as we go forward. But we depend upon employees to actually perform. And as I say, they haven't had a pay raise in 4 years. And I thought, on balance, particularly in terms of reaching an agreement with the union, it was the right decision.
What about that? My next guest has an issue with it. Orrin Hatch, ranking Republican, Senate Finance Committee, and Senator, welcome back and good morning to you.
Well, good morning. Nice to be with you.
You know folks at the IRS. You know there are a lot of good folks at the IRS, and perhaps maybe there's some questions about past behavior. Is the bonus right, Senator, or not?
Well, there are a lot of good people there, no question about it. But Danny Werfel, who was the acting commissioner, decided to withhold bonuses until we get to the bottom of what happened there in this investigation. We're not through with the investigation, although we've had about 535,000 documents provided by the IRS. John Koskinen, I have high hopes for him. I helped put him through and get him confirmed. But I think it's the wrong thing to do to give bonuses at this particular time with some of the clouds that hang over the IRS. Now, his answer is that they were being sued by the union. It was a classic compromise, but it's over $60 million that'll go out in bonuses, and I think that should have been withheld until we get through with this investigation.
Can that be stopped or not, Senator? Or is that just going to go forward?
I don't think so. It's a management decision. We don't have the power in the Congress because the Democrats in the Senate would never do that. But to make a long story short, I have high hopes for John Koskinen. I think he's a good man. The IRS, one of the problems with the IRS is that it has an IRS union. That is an agency that should not have any outside political interference. It should be independent. It should be honest. It should treat every American equally and well. And I've got to say, until we get through with this investigation, I'm not very happy with these bonuses.
Yeah, understood there. And what he says is that they've got a union deal to work out, and his hands are tied on that. That was his explanation. He also called the targeting of conservatives intolerable, and he offered an apology. Was that good enough for you?
Well, it was certainly a step in the right direction. He has been cooperating. Actually, I have high hopes for him. I think he's a very fine man and a good leader. And I brought him into the office. We've gone over this very thoroughly, and he made it very clear he'll do everything in his power to clean up the mess there. I don't think it's ever going to be cleaned up until it becomes independent. That ought to be an independent agency. Shouldn't have the political influence from the Treasury Department or anybody else. It's a mess, to make a long story short.
Do you think that will happen then? I mean, if that's the only way to get to the truth in this, is it headed that way? Or I guess maybe there's a more appropriate question. Why has it not happened yet?
Well, to be honest with you, we haven't finished our investigation. We are well on our way, but we still have a lot of things we've got to get. Now Senator Baucus has been called to be the ambassador to China, and I'm going to chat with Senator Wyden, who appears to be his replacement, and will be, in my opinion, and hopefully he'll continue to work with us in a bipartisan way to get this investigation complete. And when we do, hopefully the American people will be better off for it.
The president told Bill O'Reilly on Sunday that there's not even a smidgen of evidence of any corruption on behalf of the story. I don't know what you thought about that, but I want to get your reaction to it. And also keep in mind that Eric Holder just said about a week ago that the criminal investigation is not closed. What do you think of that?
Well, I hope it's not closed, but in all honesty, the president knows better. That is fudging on the truth quite a bit. The fact is, we know that there were people there at the IRS who were acting improperly and who were picking on the 501c4 groups, which are the conservative groups. Now, by the way, there was an equal uptick for the 501c5s, which are the union groups that do politics, and hardly anything was even considered by them. They just kind of swooshed through. Again, it's preferential treatment at an agency that should not be preferring anybody and ought to be just doing its job. Yes. And I for the president to say that, I feel like it was way beyond where President Obama should have gone. On the other hand, I know that he's under a lot of pressure, and he might say some things that he regrets later, but that's one he ought to regret.
Senator, thank you for your time. We'll speak again. Orrin Hatch,
bet.
Republican from Utah. Thanks.